Expensive, yes, but that's partially the point. The MTB 03 need fewer excuses made for them than you might have imaged, though, and as long as you're prepared to indulge them when it comes to the music you listen to, there's an awful lot to like here.
Engaging and revealing sound, built and finished without a pan compromise, notably comfortable. Flustered by uncooperative recordings, ordinary battery life, ordinary NC, predictably pricey. Bluetooth connectivity, supports Bluetooth 5.2 with SBC, AAC, and aptX adaptive. IPX4 rating resistant against splashes of water and sweat. App support MB sound control app for additional customization. Want to look the business in the business class lounge. Montblanc might have just the thing with its latest premium true wireless in the MTB 03.
Beyond its luggage, cufflinks and fountain pens, I mean,
the competition isn't exactly sparse with plenty of options to be had for less. Montblanc has to pull its finger out if it wants to attract anyone other than the obvious clientele it's aiming for. And the Montblanc MTB 03 true wireless in-ear headphones are priced in the United Kingdom at a hefty £345. In America, they're an equally considerable $395, while the AU $640 that they cost in Australia doesn't represent any sort of bargain either. The MTB 03 aren't the only assertively expensive true wireless in-ears that you can buy. Bowers & Wilkins Pi 7S2, I'm looking at you in particular,
but there are definitely the most expensive that are the product of a company more readily associated with luxury accessories rather than audio equipment.
Aluminum, resin, and stainless steel. Lightweight, ergonomic design, and free engraving. Montblanc is really up against it where design is concerned. After all, the company's enviable reputation is based on delivering luxuriously high-end products that don't so much shout premium as enunciate it very precisely.
But the design of true wireless in-ear headphones is dictated by their function. So how do you make something that needs to be small, light and discreet, look and feel properly expensive?
Well, to be fair, the company has given it a good go. The MTB 03 charging case, for example, is of anodized black aluminum with the instantly recognizable 6-pointed Various star in white on its lid. It weighs a tidy 85 grams, and it closes with a very satisfying click. The earbuds inside are made in large part of the resin Montblanc uses for many of its famous pens, and have a bright stainless steel ring forming a joint. Their shape is carefully ergonomic, so along with a per earbud weight of not quite 6 grams, they really ought to prove comfortable. You can personalize your MTB 03 by taking advantage of Montblanc's offer of free engraving. The aluminium charging case can be engraved with up to 13 letters in one of 3 different fonts. As far as I'm aware, this particular design element puts the MTB 03 at number 1 in a field of 1. And Bluetooth 5.2 with multi-point connectivity, SBC, AAC, and aptX adaptive compatibility. Total of 24 hours in battery life, unremarkable powers of noise cancellation. The MTB 03 have wireless credentials, that's for sure. Bluetooth 5.2 with SBC, AAC, and aptX adaptive codec compatibility is good news, as is multi-point connectivity. Montblanc's claims from a wireless range of an excess of 10 meters seem reasonable too. So once the digital audio information is aboard, sound is served up by a couple of 7mm beryllium, full-range dynamic drivers with a claimed frequency response of 20 Hz, 20 kHz. You can enjoy the sound for around 6 hours using the power from the earbuds, while the charging case holds another 3 full charges. A total of 24 hours of playback before charging is required is a respectable but unremarkable figure. Charging takes place using the USB-C socket on the case only. There's no wireless option here. There are 3 mics in each earbud taking care of active noise cancellation, telephony, and voice assistant interaction, and each is IPX4 rated, so usage in most reasonable scenarios and environments should be fine. Control is achievable via touch and app, and as well as using your source player's native voice assistant. The 6-pointed star on each earbud sits on top of a capacitive touch surface from where you get our generally responsive and reliable access of power, on, off, play, pause, skip forwards, backwards, Bluetooth pairing, answer and reject call, and cycle through ANC options. This is very useful as far as it goes, but as always, lack of volume control is a bit grating. The sort of active noise cancellation that you require can be defined in the MD Sound Control app that's free on iOS and Android. When it's on, there's a choice of 3 settings: sport, travel, and office. Select transparency, which Montblanc calls live mode, and you can choose between attention, environment, or a voice focus. Switch it off and you'll find you're in standard mode. In performance, in simple terms, it's not too bad, but absolutely nothing special. Outside noise is reduced most certainly, and by a not insignificant amount. But there are numerous alternate designs available, all inevitably less expensive than the MTB03, that can do a similar job at worst, and a noticeably better job at best. And I'm not even in Duncan Bench, quite good for Airbands too. It's a useful app as far as it goes. It's a 12 EQ presets plus a 5-band equalizer for tuning the sound yourself is a particularly welcome feature, but it doesn't go very far. There are no playback or volume controls, for example. There's no denying its stability, though, nor how appropriately opulent it is to look at. Detailed and involving sound in the right circumstances. Rather flustered, uncomfortable sound in the wrong circumstances. Montblanc has done the right thing by involving renowned headphone engineer Axel Grell in the MTB03 design process right from the off. No one admires a dilettante, after all, and if it's credibility for your earbuds you want, the Presidents and Grell is a great choice of collaborator. Having taken care of business in that respect, then, it would be interesting to know if Montblanc has done any research into the sort of music its prospective customers enjoy listening to. Because when you hear the MTB03 in action, it's hard not to form the impression that the answer to the putative research has come back as I like to listen to music that's as rich as I am. To give the MTB03 the right stuff to work with, and they're involving absorbing and observant listen and buy the right stuff. I mean, something that's well recorded. Was it intended to sound expensive on an appropriately expensive system? Something like Random Access Memories by Daft Punk, for instance, or Johnny Mitchell's Chord and Spark, to name but 2 glossy, high-quality recordings are right up the Montblanc street. Throughout the frequency range, the MTB03 are tonally lush, but not overheated and consequently not too rich a listen. Integration throughout is smooth and consistent, and the Montblanc always present recordings as a whole, as a single entity, rather than as a collection of individual occurrences. Low frequency extension is notable, and the MTB03 have no problem loading bass with detail as well as keeping it controlled and rapid. They do something very similar at the top end, where treble sounds have enough body to balance out the brightness the Montblanc invests them with, and they're just as detailed and informative as the stuff at the bottom end. In between, the mid-range reproduction is precise and persuasive enough to make a singer sound characterful. Detail levels, again, are pleasingly high, and the soundstage, the MTB03, allows a vocalist to stretch out a little and express themselves. Despite the little pocket in which they operate, though, singers are always a part of the whole. Dynamic headroom is considerable. Rhythmic expression is good, too. And there's quite a facility with sort of minor harmonic variations that elude less capable earbuds. So far, so in man capable,
and go back to the world.
but unlike quite a few alternative designs, the MTB-03 don't quite have what you might call an all-court game. Some rougher and or readier music. Code, Selfish by The Fall, for example, or 69 love songs by the Magnetic Fields, readily illustrates the edges of the comfort zone in which the Montblanc prefer to exist. The relative warmth of their tonality is no help here. The glossiness of their presentation, a distraction rather than an adornment. No good can come of trying to knock the rough edges off Marky Smith's unique vocal style. All of the above assumes you're listening with active noise cancellation switched off. Turn it on, and the sound of the MTB-03 loses that last scintilla of top-end presence design, but it's far from drastic and nothing like as noteworthy as the effect the ANC circuitry has on external sounds. You like nice things, although to be honest, if you're considering a pair of MTB-03, your life is probably quite full of nice things already. You're expecting to hear every penny you spent. The circumstances in which this will happen are very specific. I'd already got my Montblanc is a audio chancer that just wants an expensive trinket to sell to business class punters in the departure lounges. Snobbery, out of system after hearing 2020's entirely admirable MB01 wireless over-ear noise cancelers. So the V0 buds are a premium product that perform well. Didn't surprise me, at least not quite. Pretty put it as much as their propensity for full-on hi-fi audiophiles as a source. We test every set of headphones. We review thoroughly over an extended period of time. We use industry standard tests to compare features properly. We'll always tell you what we find. We never, ever accept money to review a product. Find out more about how we test in our ethics policy. Tested for more than a week. Tested with real-world use. Montblanc claim the battery life is 5 to 6 hours per charge, with another 3 charges available from the case for a total of around 24 hours.